Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Welcome to our Westchester Weekly Update. Today is Monday, October 7th, 2024, and Ken Jenkins, the Deputy County Executive, will join me, and we'll go over a number of different topics that we hope will be of some interest to you. We have with us, we'll introduce her more formally in a second, the Mayor of the Village of Bronxville, Mary Marvin, who's done a terrific job in that community. She'll give you an update of what's happening in Bronxville. Hopefully she'll tell us all the restaurants that are hot that we should visit. And we like having a mayor or town supervisor with us for these updates so you can learn a little bit more about a different part of the county. Every community is special and has their own unique attributes, and we want you to be comfortable in any part of Westchester County, and who better than to ask a mayor or supervisor to come and tell you about their community and what's happening there. We're going to go over some issues that relate to informing you about our Office of Assigned Counsel, which is a new innovative effort. Sherilyn Pulver will give you an update on that. Our Commissioner of the Department of Community Mental Health, Michael Orth, is here to talk about a community forum that they have coming up. And we also have with us from our Senior Programs and Services, Diane Punai, who's going to give us an update on Medicare open enrollment. So there's a lot of information that we want to share with you. We'll talk a little bit about the early voting. Ken will cover that. And he'll also close, as he does every meeting, with what's happening in parks and some of the things that are happening. Today's an important day on the calendar. It is October 7th, and just a year ago today, there was an horrific terrorist attack in Israel that cost the lives of 1,400 innocent people. Those individuals included 46 Americans, and they were killed by terrorists. And those terrorists raped women, kidnapped individuals, some of whom are still in captivity a year later. It was the deadliest day for our Jewish brothers and sisters since the Holocaust. We have had much discussion about what's happened in the aftermath of October 7th. Obviously, it's been a major issue in the body politic and in international politics. At the heart of it is the turmoil that's going on in the Middle East, but this is not to be treated as some average day. We treated 9/11 as a central day in our experience, similar perhaps only to December 7th, the day that lived in infamy that began World War II. And the impact that it has had, all of the things that have come after that, the death and destruction that follows that, are terrible, terrible things. But it began with an early morning attack on defenseless citizens, people going to a music concert. And that is the seminal action, and we cannot forget that. We mourn those who have died. We hope to get the release of those that are still hostages there, and at the same time be able to create an environment where hostilities can cease and we can start the process of negotiating a peace. But you cannot negotiate unless both sides are committed to peace, and both sides are committed to walking away from terrorist actions. And it makes it a very painful thing for all of us and the rest of the world to look at a situation where whatever the responses have been that could be different and should be different, we still have terrorists that are committed to murder and committed to death. That can never be acceptable. And we hope that a year from now we'll have a better situation. But in the meantime, we've experienced here in the United States the proper public expression of opinions. We are a country that believes in free speech and right to assembly, but sometimes that assembly and that free speech has moved into areas of anti-Semitism and fearful actions that make a group of Americans feel unsafe. Should there be any threats to public safety during these days in Westchester County, we have a mutual aid program for police, a rapid response team that are in place today and across Westchester to ensure a fast response into any municipality that might request assistance. The vast majority of our communities have their own local police forces that provide protection for the residents and the businesses and the institutions of their community. There are two, Mount Kisco and Cortland, that rely on the county for some of that or all of that direct response. But the county's regional responsibilities for public safety is there to be immediately at the fingertips of the local police whenever they feel they need that assistance. If a police department needs additional resources, the rapid response team from that zone of the county will respond first, and the teams from outside that zone can then be added if necessary. This effort is being coordinated through the County Police Real-Time Crime Center. Great innovation. We compliment our Department of Public Safety Safety for implementing that program. It's been very helpful in preventing in advance and then capturing afterwards incidents of crime. And this program is in regular contact with all of the different municipal police departments and agencies. It monitors on an ongoing basis if there are any real or potential threats to the county. And communities like Bronxville and all the other communities have that resource to turn to add to their own resources should there be any such threats. We hope there will be no such threats. We hope that we will be able to go through this county in our backyard in peace and security, and that is our intent to do that. We encourage anyone who wishes to express free speech and free assembly to do so in an appropriate fashion that expresses their right, but at the same time respects other people's rights. And when any time the exertion of those rights moves into an area where someone else's rights are affected, or it moves into some area where you're breaking the law, then we will not be shy to enforce that law. That law protects all of us. It protects every single one of us, and we have to make sure that that is in place. I want to also mention one other thing that's not directly related, but sort of in the public information element of this. Earlier today, our Department of Environmental Facilities sent out a robocall inadvertently announcing a recycling event that was scheduled for this weekend that fall on Yom Kippur. We apologize for that oversight. There was an inadvertent communications. We have postponed that event, which is a household chemical recycling day. We're going to be rescheduling for a more appropriate day in November. We apologize to anyone who might have gotten the robocall. Certainly we're offended by a major county activity happening on a major religious holiday, and we look forward to announcing the new date and to have you participate. These household recycling days are big things. It gives you an opportunity to get rid of unwanted things in your basement and your attic and your garage and get rid of them for free, and we very much like to make that available to everybody, and we have to make sure they're on dates for which everybody has the opportunity to respond. So be advised that we'll have a date coming up. We'll announce it and get publicized, and you'll have no more excuse for keeping the stuff in the attic and the basement that you have. I don't know what my excuse will be, because I'll have to do the same thing that you have to do. But we switch now to having a municipal partner guest today. Mary Marvin has been the mayor of the village of Bronxville for a number of terms, and she has done an excellent job. She has a bipartisan board that she works with, and that's not always the case everywhere you look. Bronxville, of course, is a beautiful community. We're all well aware of its presence right in the south central part of the county, and I always jokingly talk about how many great restaurants there are, but that's always a good introduction to a community. There's also various fairs and activities that happen over time. But as with any community, there are initiatives that the local government tries to undertake. So hopefully we're good partners with Bronxville. We have been, and we hope to continue to do that. And we invite Mayor Mary Marvin to join us and tell us the latest on Bronxville.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
County Exec.
Very happy to have you.
I am here today really to speak on behalf of Bronxville, but also mostly all of the small villages in Westchester, because the holiday season is fast approaching, and I urge everybody listening to think local and shop local. It is the biggest bargain you will ever get in Westchester County. We live in a county with some of the most beautiful small downtowns in the entire country, and to keep their viability and their beauty, we need to patronize them. Our home values, totally proven, are directly and inextricably related to the success of your downtown business district. Just imagine what your home might be worth if every other store was empty and covered with brown paper. The relationship is crystal clear. Every purchase you make locally returns abundantly in the form of sales tax revenue, which is so fairly and equally divided right here at the county level to our local communities. That revenue infusion not only helps to lower your taxes, but also allows your community to continue some of the special services that make your home unique. As a stark example, in my village, the village of Bronxville, if every one of my residents bought everything on Amazon last year, I would have had to raise the village portion of the tax bill by a whopping 12.5%, and perhaps cut some of the police overtime and recycling services. Unlike the Amazons and the big box stores, your local merchants are invested just as much in the community as you are. They are the ones, not Amazon, who donate to all the church fairs and school fundraisers. Statistics prove that they are 300 times more charitable per capita than any big box store. They decorate our downtowns, they keep them beautiful, and the walkability to our stores is so much healthier, both from a personal health standpoint and an environmental standpoint, as no one needs to jump in a car every time they need a gift or some sort of provision. As a commercial interruption for my village, I have to say everything I have on today was purchased in the village. The convenience of our local stores also give a measure of independence to our younger residents, as they are allowed to often walk to a nearby ice cream store or variety store. Our merchants also lend the personal touch, wrapping gifts in many cases, delivering them in some others, and if the item doesn't fit or work out, they take them back readily versus standing in long lines at the post office or the parcel store. The one-on-one with our merchants also fosters the human connection, which medical studies have proven increases our longevity. So in essence, if you want to live longer, stay healthier, protect your environment, maximize the value of your home, and enjoy services and amenities not often seen in other communities throughout the country, stay local, think local, and shop local. It is the biggest bargain in town.
Thank you, Mayor Mary Marvin of Bronxville. I think we got the message to shop local. I think that was the message.
A little passionate.
With passion and well delivered by Mayor Marvin. Thank you again, Mary, and we'll see you in Bronxville. Ken Jenkins will introduce the next spot that we have, which we're very happy to give you an update on. Ken.
Thanks, George. And it is certainly a really great honor to be able to talk about this outstanding program in Westchester County. Our Office of Indigent Legal Services a few years back came to the County of Westchester and said to us that we needed to bring those services that some people call 18B services. Those are the lawyers that are provided by the courts inside of its own office inside of Westchester County. So it was being done by an external organization, but the state required us to make this particular move. But this particular move was very essential in improving the services that were delivered by those 18B lawyers, making sure that there is enough training that happens for all of them, and the process works so very well. With that, a person that has been the director of the Office of Assigned Counsel here in Westchester County has been Sherilyn Pulver, and Sherilyn is going to come in and talk about what things have happened over the last 2 years and let us know what's going to happen next. So,
thank you so much. Well, I'm very pleased to share information about the Independent Office of Assigned Counsel, which just celebrated its second anniversary and came as a direct result of legislation that was passed by the Board of Legislators unanimously and signed into law by County Executive Latimer. The Office of Assigned Counsel, by way of introduction and to just expand a little bit on what the Deputy County Executive was explaining, under our Constitution and laws, every person who is involved in a criminal case or a family court matter is entitled to legal representation, effective legal representation, regardless of their ability to pay. And under our laws, every county in New York State is responsible for developing the plan by which that legal representation is to be provided. For many years, as the Deputy County Executive had mentioned, the provision of these legal services was provided through a core of what is now about 300 attorneys in private practice who also provide this critically important public interest legal representation. But for many years, there was little oversight into or resources provided to this representation. And with the passage of Chapter 186 of our Westchester County laws, that all changed. And I'm very proud to report to you that I think we've done a pretty good job in the first 2 years of our existence to provide the kind of durable and nimble framework and foundation that will serve the almost 17,000 clients every year who comprise 80% of those people in our county who are entitled to legal representation via the core of attorneys that I had just mentioned. And I say that not to be boastful, but really to talk about the value of community in building this office, which has been so critical to our success. First, to Indigent Legal Services, who the Deputy County Executive mentioned. Indigent Legal Services is our state oversight agency, and they have been so valuable to us, not only in supporting and guiding us, but importantly in providing us funding so we can provide these critically important initiatives to clients and their lawyers at no cost to county taxpayers. And then there's our small OAC community. That's the 7 of us who every day come together with firm dedication to making sure that these vital services are provided for and well provided. And the people who work in our office, Bushra Lumrari, Saju Peter, B.G. Anthony, Chinmi Roy, and David Hyman, along with Stephanie Perez and me, we work every day to make sure that the administrative processes have been streamlined, that we maximize every opportunity for state funding, and that clients get the best in legal representation by doing everything we possibly can, and Stephanie's going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Also, our legal community. First and foremost, the Westchester County Bar Association, with whom we partner. The core of attorneys, 300 of them, and the many other attorneys who are working now to qualify to become members of the assigned counsel panel, our administrative judge, Ann Minahan, and the many judges and clerks all across our county, and there are lots of them, who have provided us really important guidance, support, and a lot of enthusiasm for the things that we're trying to accomplish. And of course, I could not let this opportunity pass without extending our deep gratitude to our community of county departments who have really helped us in every way conceivable. Now, because I'm a lawyer, I am going to say I want to thank the following departments, which include, but are not limited to, just in the event that I miss somebody, you know what, I'm covered. But there have been so many people who have done so much for the tens of thousands of people who rely on this critically important service. For example, the law department, HR, IT, DPW, the Department of Correction, I'm sure I'm missing some, and you know, every day, the support of the county executive's office, and in particular, Karen Pasquale and Fadia Abbasi, who I simply do not know how we would get through the day without the two of them. So I'm here to report that the assigned counsel panel and the resources we've provided to the attorneys and the legal representation that is being provided to clients across our county is in really good shape, and I'm also here to thank everyone who was responsible for making that possible. And I'm just going to ask Stephanie to talk a little bit about some of the specifics that we're involved in.
Thank you, Sherilyn. And thank you, Mr. Latimer and Mr. Jenkins, for the support that you have given to our office as we have worked to build the Office of Assigned Counsel. One of our very first priorities when we took over running the Office of Assigned Counsel was to update the system by which the attorneys bill for the services that they provide. We are very, very proud to say that in our very first year of operation, we revolutionized that system by partnering with Rajesh Lakhand and his team in the IT department, as well as the software designer, and we have brought that system into the modern age. We launched a digital billing system, and looking forward in the coming year, we are hoping to launch phase 2 of that digital billing system. And with that, we are partnering even greater with our community by partnering with the court system to bring them into the digital billing system, as well as the Department of Finance for the county. At the Office of Assigned Counsel, we embrace the interdisciplinary model of providing representation to clients. And by that, what we mean is we take a client-centered approach, and we have given the panel attorneys a myriad of resources that they can tap into in order to provide this critically important resource for their clients. Some of the resources that they have been able to tap into are investigators, social workers, interpreters, mitigation experts. We have also partnered with the County Department of Corrections to give access to all of our panel attorneys to Securus Video, which means that they can now have, at no cost to them, free access to have virtual visits with their clients who are being housed at the jail. We provide a host of trainings to our attorneys in a variety of ways. Our director of training sends out regular practice advisories to all of the attorneys, keeping them abreast of recent changes in the law and recent decisions being made by the courts. We host a weekly podcast that we affectionately call the Wednesday WAG, where we invite community members to come on and join us on the podcast and speak to our attorneys about issues relevant to representing indigent clients. We at the OAC, we honor our veterans, and as a result of that, we are hosting a trilogy of trainings for our attorneys on issues relevant to representing veteran clients. And finally, we are hosting our first ever conference for the entire panel. We're bringing the entire panel together for the first time in history. We're very, very proud of that. That's coming up on October 14th, and we're very excited that some of our county partners here may be joining us. At this conference, our intention is to continue to build this community of colleagues amongst the attorneys and to get them to tap into the wealth of information and knowledge and experience that they share amongst themselves and to broaden that amongst their communities. And so thank you, Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Latimer, for the faith that you have shown in allowing us to shepherd this office and for all of the resources that you have provided so that our attorneys can provide the top-notch quality representation to these clients.
Thank you so much, Stephanie Perez, and certainly Sherilyn Povell, who is our director of the Office of Assigned Counsel. And again, this is something that didn't exist 3 years ago. It took a lot of work with all the departments to get that together. Certainly County Attorney John Nona was very instrumental in making that happen, and certainly our Director of Operations, Joe McDonald, Emily Saltzman, and the aforementioned Karen Pasquale making that happen. But again, it's one of those things that county government does that people just don't see that it happens every day, and it's another way that we make sure that Westchester County is safe and secure. Back to you, George.
Okay, thanks. Another one of the things that the county government does is to be very mindful of our community mental health. We've had him as a guest here a number of times before to brief us on a host of issues from suicide prevention and opioid addiction. And now we invite back our commissioner of the Department of Community Mental Health, Michael Orth, who's going to talk about an upcoming community forum that works with adolescents and young adults, and hopefully be a very interesting topic. Michael, please. Appreciate it.
Good afternoon, and let me first begin by thanking our County Executive, George Latimer, and our Deputy County Executive, Jenkins, for always prioritizing mental health, substance use, co-occurring disorders from day one of the administration. Under their leadership, we have been given the resources and supports to provide critical services for residents and offer opportunities to promote awareness events. And that's what brings me here today, to talk about an exciting upcoming community forum that will provide insight and resources on supporting residents ages 16 to 30 impacted by unexpected changes in thinking and perception and their family members. These changes sometimes are referred to as psychosis, are unique to each individual, but there are a few common experiences. This can lead to unusual thought, feelings, or beliefs, sensory or perception changes, or social withdrawal or cognitive challenges. It is very important that we recognize that each experience can be scary and confusing for both the young person and loved ones, and you are not alone. help and support is available. And that's our goal on Wednesday, October 9th from 6 to 7 p.m. at the White Plains Public Library. Greater Mental Health of New York and Westchester Jewish Community Services, along with our Department of Community Mental Health, are hosting a community forum titled Supporting Adolescents and Young Adults with Unexpected Changes in Thinking and Perception. Early identification and support matters. The forum is open to anyone interested, including professionals, parents, and family members. Participants will learn more about the early onset of psychosis, services and supports for individuals and a family, as well as a unique program we have in Westchester called On Track New York. On Track New York is an innovative, evidence-based program for young adults ages 16 to 30 who have recently begun experiencing psychotic symptoms to achieve their goals in school, community work, and relationships. We thank New York State Office for Mental Health for providing our 2 On Track services, and staff of those 2 programs will be available to present. I'd like to especially acknowledge our very own Ellen Hendricks from our County Executive's Office, who will be one of the featured presenters for a family perspective. For further information on this program, please contact our office at 914-995-5220. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Orth, and it's certainly great. The work that you continue to do and your leadership throughout the state is continue to be recognized, and especially in this very important community forum that's supporting adolescents and young adults with unexpected changes in thinking and perception. So we really thank you so much for that. We want to flip for a minute and talk for a second about the things that are happening. I think everyone understands it's that time of year where we have the elections that are coming up. So on November 5th, we certainly have elections that are coming up across, right from the top of the president, right down to local municipal officials that are will be on the ballot on November 5th. Early voting starts on October 26th. So it's your opportunity to make sure your voice is heard. And in early voting, you can vote in any one of the 25 locations in Westchester County, not in your specific polling place, as long as you're a registered voter inside of Westchester County, and be able to do that. Again, on Saturdays and Sundays, so Saturday, October 26th, and Sunday, October 27th, the voting hours are going to be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at those 25 locations. And certainly we have the flyer up on the screen, and you can certainly check at citizenparticipation.westchestergov.com to get those exact locations. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the hours for early voting are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Tuesday and Thursday, October 29th and October 31st, will be from noon to 8 p.m. So once again, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to 4, Tuesday and Thursday, noon to 8 p.m. And on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays on both ends of early voting, the 10 days of early voting, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Certainly the day off on Monday, and then Election Day, November 5th, starts at 6 a.m. in the morning and 9 p.m. at night. Certainly if you have those opportunities to do mail-in voting, if you know you're not going to be around, you certainly can connect with the Board of Elections to check on those mail-in ballots, because you have to do an application and then get a ballot that is sent to you or picked up by someone that you identify. So once again, it's your voice, it's your vote. Make sure you take those opportunities. Early voting starts on October 26th. And we'll turn it right back to George.
Ken? Thanks, Ken. Our next presentation is going to come from our Office of Senior Programs and Services. We have our Health Insurance Information Counseling and Assistance Program Coordinator, that's a mouthful, Diane Punai, who's going to talk a little bit about Medicare open enrollment. Take notes. This is important. Diane, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am joining you today to let you know that Medicare eligible beneficiaries have an opportunity for 2024 annual election period for changing their Medicare insurance plan, which is quickly approaching. The Medicare open enrollment period runs from October 15th to December 7th and is specifically for those already enrolled in Medicare. You have a number of options during this time frame. You can switch to a different Medicare Advantage plan, switch to a different drug coverage plan, switch from original Medicare to a Medicare Advantage plan, or switch out of your current Medicare Advantage plan back into original Medicare. The last change that you make will take effect January 1st of 2025. When reviewing your Medicare coverage, it is especially important to evaluate your drug coverage, referred to as your Medicare Part D drug plan, as the formularies for these plans, the medications that the plans cover, changes from year to year. Additionally, each Medicare drug plan has different premiums, deductibles, copays, and restrictions, such as quantity limit, prior authorization, and step therapy that apply to the medications that the plan covers. These various coverage rules need to be strongly considered when making your 2024 selection in order to avoid unexpected expenses for the upcoming year. During open enrollment, individuals should take advantage of the helpful Plan Finder tool that's located on the Medicare.gov website in order to compare their plans. However, before you enroll in any new plan, it's important to confirm the details of that plan directly with the plan itself. Never rely solely on the information on the website. You can obtain free, unbiased guidance in navigating the various Medicare plan options from one of our certified high-cap counselors. Phone counseling is available by calling our Health Insurance Information Counseling and Assistance Program unit at 914-813-6100, weekdays from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You can visit a counselor at one of the walk-in centers at the following libraries: Shrub Oak, Yonkers, Montrose, and Greenberg. Dates and times for the walk-in sites can be found on the Westchester Library System website or by calling 914-813-6100. There are also a number of fall demystifying Medicare workshops that are being offered throughout the county that you can take advantage of. Many of them are taking place on Saturdays and Sundays. You can obtain a listing of these by calling us at 914-813-6100 or visiting the Westchester Library System. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane Punai. That certainly was very helpful information. I know everyone was taking notes, as the county executive pointed out, to make sure that you were. But those sites, you can also get that information online, and it was definitely on the screen as well to be able to do that. Let's talk about our park system, and certainly talking about our recently reaccredited, nationally recognized, award-winning park system that we have. So starting tomorrow, we're going to have at the Lasden Park and Arboretum up in Katona, the Autumn Stroller Tour. So from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lasden Park in Katona, this guided outing is for parents and caregivers looking to take a break and reset with nature. You're going to be able to view those beautiful gardens as they transition into fall from the many walking paths that are both stroller accessible. If there's a rain, then it's not going to happen, but it looks so far this week that we're going to be in good shape up in Lasden Park for the Autumn Stroller Tour from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. up in Lasden Park and Arboretum. Park and Read continues Tuesday, October 8th. That's going to happen at Tibbetts Brook Park, and that's from 11 a.m. to 11:45 for ages 3 to 6 with a parent or guardian with them, so they can discover that joy of reading in charming Tibbetts Brook Park during the Enchanting Read Aloud program. This happens near the small playground above the pool in the catering hall during inclement weather. So that's going to happen every Tuesday right through the end of the month, October 15th, 22nd, and 29th. On Wednesday, the Park and Read program moves to the Kensico Dam Plaza, same time, 11 to 11:45. and that happens at the Kensico Dam area in the grassy area outside of the office at Kensico Dam Plaza. Fridays, we continue with our mall walks at the Westchester, 8 to 10 a.m. So Tuesdays and Fridays weekly, you get to go at your own pace and get motivated by joining a group of a group of people who have expanded this program into a small community. They have fun walking the mall in the Westchester, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Tuesday to Friday. Saturday, we have a lot of activities going on in the park system, but at the Alfred B. Del Bello Muscoot Farm in Somers, it's pumpkin picking weekend. Say that 3 times fast. Pumpkin picking weekend, 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So you can be able to join us for the annual pumpkin picking fundraiser. So we have hay rides and more that's going to be available with pumpkins for purchase to benefit the Friends of Muscoot Farm. That also will happen on October 13th and 14th. So this weekend, and then October 13th and 14th as well, which is this weekend, we'll have the pumpkin picking weekend, 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Up at our Hilltop Hanover Farm and Environmental Center, we have the trick or treating that'll happen on this Saturday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. You'll be able to visit with the animals, explore the farm's historic sites as you trick or treat at the barn doors. Treats will be available while supplies last. Dressing up in costumes is certainly encouraged. And finally, for the last day of 2024, it is the annual Bike Sunday. It's the last weekend of Bicycle Sunday, so you'll be able to do that from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Sunday. It's the final day to walk or jog or bike along the 13.1 mile loop on the Bronxville Parkway from Yonkers to White Plains. The portion of the parkway is closed to cars for exclusive use of non-motorized bicyclists and scooters, as well as inline skaters, walkers, and joggers. Make sure you stop by the Scarsdale Farmers Market that happens along the same time. And that's what's happening in our nationally accredited award-winning park system. Sign up for that Parks Ease newsletter to get those, as well as discounts for everything else that's going on. And we turn it back to George.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks very much, Ken, and thanks to everybody who participated in this week's update, all the different issues, the dates, and upcoming events. We are working in the administration now on the final stages of our 2025 capital budget. We expect to release that on the 15th of the month, which is a little over a week from now, and we've been getting recommendations from some members of the county legislature, Nancy Barr of Rybrook Harrison, Portchester, Colin Smith from Peekskill and Cortland have both recommended certain projects. We're making some assessments now as other legislators and other individuals are trying to prioritize some of these things. When we come out with it next week, we'll go over some of the roads, bridges, parks, and some of the internal infrastructure that we hope to tackle and to accomplish that over the next year. So that's on the docket. And I will mention that coming up this Thursday, October 10th from 4 to 6, we have a public input meeting for the operating budget, which will be released in November. That meeting is going to be at the Scarsdale Library, again, 4 to 6 this Thursday, October 10th. We invite any member of the public, whether they represent an organization or their own personal opinion, to come. They'll be given a couple of minutes to express their thoughts. They can submit something in writing if they'd like as well for what they think should be in the budget. As we're working to finalize the capital budget for the next week, we'll be working over the next month to finalize the operating budget. That's where you find out what the tax rate is and how much resources we're going to spend all across the board in the different categories of county government. But that input session will come before the budget is presented, and then after the budget is presented to the Board of Legislators on or about November 8th, I think it is. Then the board will have a series of public hearings to comment on the budget as presented, and then modifications may come from the board before we finalize things, hopefully by December. Usually around December 10th or 15th, we get the budget done in its entirety. So that's a few things to look forward to. We appreciate your involvement from the public. Any emails that you want to send to us, the generic communications@westchestercountiny.gov work, or you can call us at 995-2900, ask for Ken or me or anybody else, and we're happy to interact with you. I'm George Latimer. Thanks for watching. Have a good, safe week ahead. We'll be back in touch soon.